Well, folks, it's 12 o'clock noon on Wednesday, 26 November, and this is officially the start of Lunch with Coach. So I'm going to welcome anybody that shows up to whatever this turns out to be. And first, let me begin by saying I am not an internet influencer. In fact, it's never been my goal to influence anybody. I just sort of put stuff out on the table and let you take from it what you will. And so that's what these podcasts will be. There'll be all kinds of different topics discussed, some serious, some not so serious, some downright stupid, but it's a way to pass the time. The format will simply be anybody that's hooked into to the podcast can watch, participate, make comments, whatever. Um, and if you don't make it, it's being recorded and I will post it afterwards as soon as I figure out which buttons to push and where to put it. It'll either be on this platform, the school's platform, or it will be on Facebook or wherever I can put it up. I'll figure that out as we go along. Um, and you'll see that when you or someone else tries to join for the first time, there's a $10 registration fee. That's for being in the community. And It's a one time fee. It's not like you got to pay every time you want to come. But if you want to take part and see all the stuff and be involved in some of the conversations, then you're going to have to join. That way, we also keep the riffraff out. All right. So, uh, that's the format, and we'll see what happens. At present, there's nobody here, so I'll be talking to myself, asking questions to myself, and giving answers to myself. But at least I won't get any arguments. So this first one is about the great debate. Okay, and everybody knows what that is. The great debate is who is the greatest basketball player of all time. Now, there are others involved in the conversations here and there, but for the most part, it comes down to the talk about the GOAT. Is the GOAT Michael Jordan or is the GOAT LeBron James? Now, before we get into that, and just to let you know that there's going to be no bias on my end, I want to be fair and show that I'm being fair by giving a shout out to the first player to graduate from the LeBron James School of Post Play. Okay, just give me a second to pull up this video and I will show you this young man at work. Got to put on my glasses here to make sure this gets right. And if you have any problems, please send me a message or just chime in and we'll go back to whatever your question is. So, this is the first player to graduate from the LeBron James School of Post Play. Watch carefully. I mean, folks, you don't get better than that. Look at how he sets up his man and then beats himself in the head with the ball and then wants a foul. Okay? So now that we've seen that, we'll get back into the crux of the matter. Okay? What's real? All right? No, I was just kidding. I mean, LeBron's a great player. I mean, there's no question. Anyway, we'll move on. And that is to get into this correctly, what we have to do now. You'll have to pardon me for jumping around on the screen because, like I said, I'm still learning how to make all these buttons work. Uh, I see we have a visitor. First, let's stop and say hello to our visitor here. You want to say hi to the group?
Hello.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, that young lady right there, her name is Corinna. She's actually right now in Italy. She played for me back when she was a little child. No, A few years ago, she played for me in Germany, went on, played college basketball here in the States at Gardner Webb University, has spent time vacationing in Australia, whatever that means. And then she's now, well, at some point, maybe you'll get into a private conversation with her. And if you were somebody that knew her from Germany then or from the United States, by all means, chime in. At any rate, Corinna, all we've done so far is I showed my video of the LeBron James graduate who beats himself in the head and tries to draw a foul, but we're not going to put that on LeBron. That's, every player's entitled to do whatever he chose to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that I've got all of this going right, and we'll get right to the question since we're still sharing screens. And I'll ask Corinna, can you see that on the screen?
Yep.
Okay,
that's
so
working.
that's where we are, guys. The question is Michael Jordan or LeBron James? And that's me saying, are you really asking me this? All right. So let's just jump into this from some point. So what we have here, and I'll give you a formal introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, basketball fans of all ages, welcome to the longest running, most heated relationship ending argument in sports. Who is the greatest player of all time, Jordan or LeBron? Okay, so we're going to break it down into phases, and we're going to start with stats because the stat people show up, and let me pull up this picture of stats so we can go from there. Hello, let me get out of full screen here, or do I have to go back? And there we go again, me guys. Here we go, and we go out of that, and we go into the stats, and that should take us. Oh, I see what I got to do. I'm already in that. So we'll look at some stats, and we'll discuss them as we go. All right, first, let's just look at these stats. Jordan, 11 seasons. This is where they both were at age 33. Jordan had played 11 seasons. LeBron had played 15 seasons. Now, that sounds like that's a big discrepancy, but the fact is that a lot of people don't realize LeBron went into the NBA out of high school. Jordan was going into a senior year in college when he went in. So those 4 more years are simply explainable in the fact that LeBron started in the NBA younger, which gave him more games and more chances to do good stuff. All right. So, but if you look down there, you'll see that with that 4-year difference, all right, he got one more MVP in those 4 years, but titles, MVPs in the finals, are both the same. So I'm not sure just longevity should be the issue. Then we look at awards. Okay, Jordan's got 6 rings, LeBron's got 4. MVPs, I don't have to read all of these, you can see them. But the ones that stick out to me, maybe defensive player of the year for all the strength and power and speed that LeBron's supposed to have. He was never defensive player of the year. Jordan only did it once, but that's one more than LeBron. Okay. All defense. Jordan, 9 times. James, 6 with 4 more years. So, scoring titles. Now, everybody talks about LeBron's ability on offense, but Jordan was league leading scorer 10 times to LeBron's 1. So I'm not sure about that. First round exits, it's about the same. Missed playoffs. Jordan missed the playoffs twice. Okay. The overall total at this point in their careers, Jordan played 15 seasons, LeBron played 22. Now, look, I'm the last one to say that he shouldn't get credit for playing professional basketball that long. Okay. By all means, he should get credit for that. But let's not overdo it. All right. And then we go down here, and here's just a short version of that. 3 rings, 3 MVPs. So if you're looking at points and stats, frankly, LeBron has an edge if you're just looking at points and stats. All right, let's go down here. So, like I said, this is what people say. Uh, People will say LeBron has more points. He passed Kareem. He's played longer. Jordan only played 15 seasons. And then on the other hand, Jordan's people will say he's got six finals he's got six finals wins. He played that flu game and got 63 points in the Garden. All of those are nice, but let me get out of this and get back on the screen if I can. And get me here. So from that point, you can see that, okay, there's definitely a lot to be said for what Jordan has done. I mean, for what James has done. But I don't think stats should be the only measure. Does anybody have well, since you're the only one here, well, let me make sure that you're the only one here first. I got to go back and get to this screen. At some point, I'll get this all down. Okay, you're still the only one here. You got any comments on the point and stats stuff?
No, it's all. Can you hear me? Sorry. Hello?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, the facts are pretty obvious. But if you ask somebody just according to the facts, I guess everybody would go with LeBron, obviously. But as the videos you showed last time, kind of, if you would just show them and leave the stats out, change a lot of people's opinions.
Okay, well, no fear, that's coming. So we're going to discuss that in detail, and that we will now go to this one, and we'll start looking at some of those things because I don't think it's just about the points. So here we go. Who would you rather watch? First, we'll take a look at Jordan. Okay, this is Michael Jordan in all his glory. Is that coming through well?
Yeah.
Okay. That block was ridiculous. I don't have to comment on any of this stuff because it speaks for itself.
How does he even do that to change his hand in air?
Really, that's just crazy. Look at this.
It's impossible.
Right? And he doesn't give up on plays or anything like that. So um, we'll go out of that and go back to these. And uh, the question of this is, well, first let's go ahead and make a comparison with something that maybe was done by where do I have to go? Okay, the great debate. I shouldn't be here. Sorry about that, folks, but I keep messing this up. And let's get out of that. Let's go back to here. In fact, let's just get out of that altogether and go back to here. Okay, so we've seen that. Now we want to take a look at LeBron. Okay, let me get the right one here. Jordan glides, MJ, Jordan, Jordan, Jordan. Ah, yes. Now you just saw the video of Jordan. Now let's take a look at LeBron.
Bit repetitive.
Yeah, I mean, guys, no question, strong, powerful, got speed, but like I said in another video, that's like watching a sledgehammer at work. You know, I mean, like, how much fun is that? But we're not done. We'll go to another one. See, did we see this one? Perimeter. I mean, this is just poetry. I mean, it's fun to watch. People would pay to go see this guy. Of course, people pay to see LeBron too, but what are you watching? The same thing over and over. Nothing he does surprises you. When Jordan plays, you say, wow, yeah, LeBron stuff is certainly impressive, eh, I mean, I could pull up dozens of those and, you know, you'd be amazed every time you see it because you look at it and say, just as she just said, how does he do that? You know, uh, as a former player who was never anywhere near that athletic, but I mean, some of the stuff he does, I couldn't imagine myself getting to any kind of a shape and being able to do that stuff. And LeBron stuff, if you eat enough Wheaties and you get strong enough, you can do that. You can overpower people, but elephants can overpower people. No, I don't want to make that comparison. But at any rate, we'll go on and take it a step further and just ask ourselves, well, what else is there? All right. We've seen Jordan in contact. Um, this is one of the ones that sort of bothers me. Uh, this is not, this is me. Uh, Look at me. It's not about the game anymore. I mean, well, just look at this. Watch this, guys. I mean, come on. Okay, decent dunk, nice timing. But this, I'm sorry. Now, if that kind of stuff makes you feel like a player is special, okay, but um, it doesn't impress me. I'm sorry. And I'm sure that there are those of you that will say, well, who are you? I don't have to put my resume on the table. Part one. Part two, this is not about me. This is about him versus Jordan. Okay. And to go up and time a pass to the point where you can make a dunk and then come down and stand there for 30 seconds staring in the camera. I'm sorry. That's just not. But I'm sure this new age of players, you guys have your own values and you see it the way you want to see it. So there's really nothing I can say about that. Of course, we'll go on. You remember that that player that graduated from the LeBron School of I don't know what you want to call it, but let's take a look at this. Watch this again. Oh my God, I am so hurt. I just don't know. I'm sorry.
Maybe he thought he's a soccer player.
Yeah, now watch. The guy weighs 550 pounds. You're going to tell me that he got shoved that far and he was hurt that bad? And oh my God. And the reaction? Well, there you go. It kind of sort of speaks for itself. Okay. Um, Let me get out of that one more time. So as you can see, I'm not really all that much in favor of what this guy is doing and what he's getting all this credit for. And uh, let's go down. We've already talked about the rings and all the stats and all that other stuff, so we'll leave that out. Uh, and then, well, I'm sure that this is the moment where somebody in the audience yells, "But they played in different eras." Yes, thank you, Professor Obvious. But it's about the personality. It's about playing in your element according to the rules of the game and measuring yourself by everyone that's come before you and everyone that's playing with you now, and not just your points in a vacuum. Okay. I'm not trying to take anything away from LeBron, but by the same token, I don't want to give him credit for, let me find this, I'm looking for something that I'm not finding again. And so we'll get out of that and go back to this one. Okay. I'm not trying to say that LeBron is not a good player. I just don't think that all of that self-aggrandizing and things like that make you the GOAT. And then one more comment on that is that LeBron is probably the only player of that stature who has sat in an interview and said something like, I think that shot shows that I'm the greatest player of all time. Now, he actually said that. I probably should have researched and pulled that up, but I was watching TV the night that he said after a shot that he made in some playoff game or something showed that that makes him the greatest player of all time. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that one. Um,
When did he
and
say? Did
if
he
I,
say that towards? Sorry, Kurt. Did he say that towards the end of his career, or when did he say it? Do you know?
okay, well, let me see if I can dig that up for you while we're at it. Let me go on to this one and type in LeBron says I'm the greatest player of all time and click go. Now all I got to do now is figure out a way to get that from here to there. I know how to do that. I'm not as dumb as you look. Okay, go up here. Oops, I don't want to do that. I want to add one. LeBron says I am the greatest. Could you see me typing that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
great. That's me. Okay, here we go. So that means you, sorry about the ads, guys, but this goes with the territory. There's nothing I can do on that. Okay, can you see this?
It just doesn't have sound on it.
It doesn't have sound?
No.
Oh,
No, I can only hear you.
okay. Well,
Well, I can imagine what he's saying. So.
okay, folks. Oh, but if you look up at the top of the screen, can you see this?
No, because it's on my phone, so it's very small.
Oh, okay. Well, here, folks, up at the top, this is on Fox Sports. It's a quote from LeBron where he says, I feel confident because I'm the best player in the world. That is LeBron saying that. I feel confident that I am the best player in the world. Now, I'm sorry. Uh, I ain't buying that. Uh, you don't. Uh, there it is again on your screen. LeBron, I feel confident because I'm the best player in the world. Um, no, I just can't deal with that type of insanity. And I don't know what to say. It's that self-praise and all of those things, self-promotion, posturing, demeanor. And I'll just sort of phase this out with saying Jordan walks into the gym in silence, menace, a bald head, shining, one glare, and half the league reconsidered their career choices. LeBron comes in like, ladies and gentlemen, please silence your cell phones. This highlight is about to begin. Michael was here to destroy you. LeBron is like, look at me, appreciate me. Both are legends, just very different flavors. Okay. You saw the picture of Jordan smiling. You look at him and you say, hey, this guy is here to do some damage. Okay. And that sort of says it all. Opponents saw Jordan and said, we're going to die tonight. Jordan just had that era, that aura, that you knew something special was going to happen. LeBron has physics. Yeah, he's big, he's strong, he's powerful, he can hurt you. But Jordan was just like poetry. He was, when you saw him play, it was like, wow, this is going to be special. LeBron plays, it's like, oh, watch out, here it comes. And I just don't know. So for me, it's not just about rings or stats. Okay, it goes beyond that. Okay, and because every debate needs that one person who played, coached, taught, and lived enough basketball to cut through the nonsense. And again, guys, I am by no means putting myself at that level, nowhere near it. So don't even think it. But I do have some experience as a player, as a coach, as a ref in the States, in Europe. I've played with some of the best players on the planet. I've watched and coached some of the best players on the planet. And just with that experience that I've got, when I throw it all into one pot, then all I can say is it's not just about the numbers or longevity. It's about what that player brings to the game. Okay. And in my opinion, all I can say is, if you're really asking that question, I can just say James is strong, powerful, durable, statistically incredible. He's a bulldozer with great footwork. He's a sledgehammer with passing ability. But ask yourself, how much fun is it to watch a sledgehammer? Now you compare that to Jordan, the hang time, the killer instinct, the finesse, the showmanship, the intimidation aspect, the aura. Jordan wasn't just effective, he was fun to watch. He wasn't a tool, he was a phenomenon. Okay. And that being said, who's the GOAT? If you love raw numbers, you'll say LeBron. If you love dominance with style, you'll say Jordan. If you love the game, truly love the game, you choose the player whose presence changed everything. And that, folks, is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. So that's all I can say. You can put your comments in wherever you want to put them. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the GOAT debate from my side. Like I said, feel free to add in your comments. Let me get out of the screen sharing option. And wait a second. Have I been sharing the screen the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. So we will get out of that part. And well, we've gone a full half hour on this. Any questions or anything else? I will figure out a way to post this so you can make your comments and watch it again whenever you want. And well, just out of curiosity now, despite what I say, do you feel, well, were you a Jordan or a LeBron fan coming into the conversation?
Probably a Jordan. I
Okay.
mean, just from I didn't even, without even seeing the stats and all of that, I feel like just from knowing the videos and what both of them have done, I think
Okay.
it's definitely a Jordan. But I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know, do you know how the coaches of LeBron, do you know what they said about him? Like in
Um,
a matter of coaching him, was that even possible? Like,
all right.
you,
Now, see, there I've got a little more insight from, like, I've got two players or two men who I worked with and coached with also when I was in Germany, who are both now NBA assistant coaches, and it's kind of funny that you should ask that because, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get myself out of this full screen stuff where we get away from this multi-view thingamajiggy here. I'm not remembering how we did that, but while we're let me go back to screen share. Okay, so now all that other stuff is off the screen, right?
yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so um, they told me some stories, and it's unfortunate because you can also see it with the situation with LeBron and his son. Um, I've often said to people that I appreciate the guys and girls that have played for me that allowed themselves to be coached. Well, about halfway through his career, LeBron was no longer the coachable player, he was the player coach. A lot of the decisions made on teams that he played on were made, let's say, in conference with LeBron. Like bringing his son in, for instance, okay, that was a horrible move for that young man. It was a horrible move for the game of basketball. You know, coaches were afraid, like, uh, you know it yourself because you played in my system. I love the Princeton offense, okay? And I've had tremendous success with my variations on that offense. And first thing that was necessary was for the players in my system to allow themselves to put all the other stuff out of their head and allow themselves to learn the Princeton offense. It's positives, it's negatives, and just play the system. And there was a coach named Mike Brown who got the job as the Lakers head coach. And Mike was a Princeton man, and he tried to use the Princeton offense. And LeBron was one of the people who sort of cost Brown his job because they weren't willing. Now, this isn't just a LeBron thing. This was also tried with one of the teams, one of the pro teams that I work with in Germany. I was the assistant, and the head coach wasn't really in favor of it, but he looked at it and we sort of tried it. But today's players, especially at the pro level, the Princeton offense is a team offense. It's not about me offense. And today's players are about me. It's about my points, my stats, and stuff like that. You can't play Princeton like that. So these guys were not willing to make 4 or 5 cuts, touch the ball one time. They wanted the ball so they could score. So that pretty much is the nutshell of what I see as the LeBron game. For instance, about halfway through his career, LeBron began bringing the ball down the floor on every team that he played on. Now, I'm sorry, what what does a point guard do? You know, And again, I'm dating myself. I'm really, really old school. When I played point guards, ran the offense, directed the defense, got the ball to other people, and made sure stuff happened. Okay, if a if a point guard in my era, in my mind, if a point guard was getting more than 15 points a game, he wasn't doing his job. Okay, so the era of point guards. I mean, Steph Curry plays the point, but he's a shooting guard. Okay. Even though Steph is a great passer. Okay. But right now, it started with, I don't know, who were the, you can't name the great, Jason Kidd was one, Steve Nash was one, Isaiah Thomas was one. They were all point guards who could score and put up big points when they needed them. Okay. It wasn't about, I'm bringing the ball down the LeBron's first thought when he comes across half court is not get the ball to this guy or that guy. He's looking for his shot first, and then if he doesn't get it, then he'll pass it, and then he expects to get it back again. Well, that's what coaches see, and so this goes beyond just LeBron. This is a general feeling of coaches today, especially at the pro level. You're not a coach, you're a manager. Okay. You're managing time. Okay. Did he get enough playing time? Did he not get enough playing time? You're not looking at anything basically other than that. That's why you got all these guys managing minutes and load. Uh, I don't know what they even call it anymore, where, well, he's got to have X number of games off and whatever. You go back to Jordan. Jordan played 82 games almost every season that he played. Okay. He didn't sit out just before the playoffs to get ready for the playoffs. You get ready by practicing. Okay. And let me throw this out for those of you who have not been down that road, because I get tired of hearing TV announcers talk about this. They talk about stuff like, oh, well, they played last night, and so they're tired and this, that, and the other. Guys, listen, they played last night. The top player on that team probably played 35 minutes. Okay. He played 35 minutes on a Monday night. Then he got on an airplane and he flew someplace later on in the hotel all day, had a nice meal, and then went and played the next night. Are you kidding me? You're telling me he's too tired to play tonight? I'm, I'm, I'm I'm sorry, but again, and I hope there's enough players out there who remember what it was like to play. If if you couldn't play back-to-back games, or hell, how many times did you go to a tournament and have to play 2 or 3 games in one day? Now these guys have the best travel arrangements, the best hotels, and everything else, and you tell me they can't play 35 minutes 2 nights in a row? I'm sorry. Uh, okay, I digress. All right, but yeah, things are different now, much different than they were back then. I'm not going to say these guys are soft. I'll just say that they're pampered, okay, and they're entitled. And you're playing in Europe right now, and you know the difference. You know what it's like. Well, to get 4 or 5 players in a car and drive to a game, okay, and stop at a rest stop and get a snack and then go on and play, and then drive all the way back and get up and go to work the next day. And you're going to tell me that these young men who are making millions of dollars a year can't play 2 games back to back? But again, I digress. Let me go back to your question. What did LeBron's coaches say? Uh, it's it's different. They don't really run the team. Their job is to keep all the players happy and make sure all these guys that are getting all that money try to perform and are ready to come back to that team the next year. But to look at it from the other side, these players, their attitude, yeah, they want to win, but they want their numbers so that they can negotiate their contract for the next season. Now, I don't blame them, because if the money's there, if that's the system that you're in, then you got to live with that system. But I'm sorry, making 17, 20, 30 million dollars a year, dudes, you got no reason to complain about anything. And I've told people 100 times when I had my tryout with the Sixers, if I had made that team, the contract that I would have signed was for $50,000. Okay. And guess what? I would have been happier than a pig in to get $50,000. And I wouldn't have complained. I would have worked my tail off day in and day out. Yes, I know it's a different time and guys have different values and stuff like that. But for me, it's always been about the game. It's all about the game. And I feel good about every decision I've made. And I you know, I'm going to be posting shortly some stuff about I'm making one more run at being a real coach. I've put together a team of who are players who allow themselves to be coached. They don't want to score 30 points a game, 40 points a game, stuff like that. They just want to go out and play and win if possible. And those are the kind of guys that I like to coach. And having played for me, I think that's how I coach. It isn't about you and scoring your points. I'll get what I can out of you as long as you give me what you've got. And that's all that I'm looking for. So, frankly speaking, that's probably why I spent most of my time as a coach, not coaching professionals, but coaching amateur players, because I wanted players that allowed themselves to be coached, who were going to listen to what I say and be willing to put themselves beneath the team. Okay. That doesn't mean that you have no respect for yourself and that you don't want to accomplish stuff, but the team has to be as important as your individual goals, at least in my program. So I'm not saying that makes LeBron a bad person or any of those pros bad people. But one of my favorite players, I remember a guy named Dirk. I remember the season that Dirk took a pay cut in his contract with the Mavericks so that the team could bring in another player. Half of these guys today, they wouldn't do that, even though they've got more than excess money. And it reminds me of my time as a college coach when I was trying to bring in a kid. Our AD said that I couldn't have any more out-of-state players. And I brought in a player that I really, really liked. She came in on her official visits, and the team fell in love with her. She was a great player, great person, would have fit in with our team. And the AD told me during that visit that I couldn't bring her in because he wasn't going to give enough money for another out-of-state scholarship. And the most gratifying thing that I've ever seen one of them as a coach was the players on my team got together and said, we will give up X amount from each of our scholarships to cover for hers. And when the AD heard about that, he changed his mind and gave her a full scholarship simply because he didn't want that to get out in the media that the players had to donate to bring a player in. But
Wow.
these guys today, it's all about the money. And I can't knock that. But guys, I mean, how much is too much? You can't live off $5 million, $10 million. And all of these toppers, they're making more than that, And so, all right. So to answer your question, LeBron's coaches are there to make sure that they make the playoffs by monitoring how these guys play. I mean, you watch these timeouts in an NBA game, and the coach will look at from player to player, and half the time you'll see that star player doing most of the talking during that timeout. So again, that doesn't make any of these guys bad people. It's just I couldn't coach pros because if you don't do what I say, then you can't be on the team that I'm coaching. Because I'm sorry, I'm that old fashioned, and I believe that it's not a democracy. You can have a democracy on the street or in your household or whatever, but when you're on the basketball court, it's not about democracy. So I hope I sort of answered your question.
Not at all.
when it, when's your next game?
Saturday.
Sunday. Okay. Did you change teams?
Yeah, I played for a different team last year. Yeah.
Okay. I saw that and I was like, so and your club has a Pro B men's team?
Yeah, the men's are playing B and we're playing C, yeah. And then the
Okay.
girls team I used to play, they were in B as well, but the whole, it was similar to what you said. It was not much. It was one got the ball and shot it all and nobody else was included. So I didn't quite like that. And now it's much better, the whole team situation, everything. It's much more of a
Okay.
much
Um,
better environment.
I think I found the website, and I saw that the men post highlights. Do the women post any highlights?
Yes, not much. It's a new team. The team got created this year, so they're still trying to slowly put them up there. They are on the main club page as well, where they post from everyone a little bit. I can send you the link to it if you like.
That would be good. Okay, and
Yeah.
let me finish this up and stop the
Yes,
recording so
please.
that other people don't have to watch this. I'm
Uh,
just going to stop the recording. So, folks, that's pretty much